Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Nix, and welcome back to NASCAR Mailbox. This past weekend, Shane Van Gisbergen dominated the NASCAR Cup Series race at Mexico City, the first international points race for the NASCAR Cup Series in a very, very long time, since at least the 1950s. SVG won by over 16 seconds, one of the largest margins of victory in the modern era. But there was more to the race than just that. Ty Gibbs had one of the strongest showings of his career before a late caution put him off kilter with his strategy, and then Carson Hocevar and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. continued their back and forth on the racetrack. And Stenhouse confronted Hocevar after the race and said that he was going to rough him up when they get back to the States. So it comes as no surprise that this week's question for Mailbox is about Stenhouse and Hocevar, and it is from CSX Train Fan 7319. And they say, do you think Ricky and Carson's rivalry will continue at Pocono? I think it's going to continue. I don't think it's going to happen at Pocono. First, I will say why it's going to continue. Like I said, so late in the race at Mexico City, Carson Hocevar booted Ricky Stenhouse Jr. off the racetrack. That 47 went around, he had contact at the hands of the 77. This was in the stadium portion of the Mexico City racetrack. So the two of them got in it, they got into it again. And this very quickly seems like it is, as you said, it very quickly seems like this is growing into a rivalry. And what will come from that? Stenhouse confronted Hocevar after the race and said that he is going to beat his rear end. He did not say rear end, substitute it with something else. He is going to beat his rear end when they get back to the States. So they have gotten back to the States and he hasn't done it yet, but there's plenty more time to go before that happens. I The interesting thing to me will be how this rivalry takes shape on the racetrack. It is well known already that Hocevar gives people no quarter when racing. The same is also true about Stenhouse. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets quite a lot out of that 47 car. He races people hard, he races people aggressively, but to his credit, he has not overstepped as of late. So Stenhouse has had quite the solid season for Hayek Motorsports for the number 47 team. And I don't see Stenhouse taking out Hocevar on the racetrack where it would lead to a penalty. So I do think the rivalry will continue. Whether it is a playful spat or whether Stenhouse acts on his word that he's going to whoop Carson's rear end remains to be seen. But I do know that it's not going to happen at Pocono. And the reason why it's not going to happen at Pocono, it's one of the fastest racetracks that the series goes to. If you are going to pay somebody back, you are not going to wreck them at a track like Pocono. The most I could possibly see Stenhouse doing is similar to what Denny Hamlin did to Ross Chastain in 2022. Crowded him up the racetrack and forced him to spin out. But the contact from him never actually spun the one car out. I could see something similar happening with the 47 and 77. Then maybe there's a situation where the two of them are arguing over space, and maybe they're going for the same place in the racetrack. And if it was most other drivers, Stenhouse would lift and concede the position. But if it was Hocevar, he gets squeezed around and into the outside wall, then maybe that could be a consequence of that rivalry. But I don't see him going into the tunnel turn, for example, and shipping the 77 into the outside wall, simply just because of the safety aspect. And NASCAR would look at that very closely if he did it at a track like this. If it's a track like Bristol or Martinsville, okay, that's fair. Like many paybacks have been paid at those places, or even Sonoma coming up in a few weeks. Just a low speed track, even Iowa or Richmond. Like there's a lot of racetracks where you can dump a guy or you can wreck a guy, and that would be, I wouldn't say acceptable, but it would be looked at with less scorn than say if Stenhouse shipped him at Pocono. But I do think the rivalry is going to continue. It's not going to continue in the. I don't think it's going to continue specifically at Pocono in terms of like Stenhouse taking him out or anything like that, at least intentionally. But they're definitely going to race each other much harder. Neither driver is going to give each other an inch of room on the racetrack. And these are two drivers who are already known for not doing that to begin with. And they are especially not going to do that with each other. I just don't see that happening. So I do think the rivalry is going to continue. I don't think it's moving out of the way or they're giving each other no quarter on the racetrack. It's already really hard to pass with these cars, but each of them might make it impossible for the other if they are battling for position together. So I do think it will continue. I don't think it'll be in the form of wreck, but I do think it might be in the form of maybe comments to the media. It might be in the form of much more aggressive than normal racing that would be done in a circumstance like this. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of NASCAR Mailbox. We are heading to Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, this weekend for a very fascinating major divisions of NASCAR. Again, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Kevin Nix, and I hope everyone enjoys the racing this weekend. Bye-bye.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Come back more for some great racing video content. And if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.